Okay, everybody, welcome back. This is episode 2 with Kara and Christine. Christine's been a huge part of my knowledge base in terms to physiotherapy, and she just knows her stuff so much. She puts out videos all the time when it teaches you how to do exercises properly, proper mind muscle focus. She's a wealth of knowledge, so I'm so happy to be able to share this with everybody. Today, we finished our core challenge, so I just thought it would be very fitting for us to talk about the core. So she's going to take us through a lot of common mistakes that most people make, and then she's going to talk about the layers of the core as well, and then what happens after pregnancy. And then in addition to that, she's going to also kind of walk us through what some exercises are that she recommends that we do. So take it away with Christine. Can't wait to hear about the inside of the muscles and everything else that's going on in the six-pack area. So take us through it.
Okay, so let me give a bit of an overview of the anatomy, okay? Because most of us think of abs as like right here, and you don't know the rest of what's going on. So there's 4 layers of ab muscles. The first one starts, they all start on the ribs, and they all insert right on the hips. So the first and innermost core layer is the body's natural corset, and it's called the transversus abdominis, and its fibers run this way. So if you master contracting this one, which is pretty challenging, then it will actually pull your whole waistline inwards and will pull your pooch in.
Okay.
The second layer, so I'm working in to out. The second layer is the internal obliques. The internal obliques start on the lower ribs, the 4 lowest ribs, which is around here, and they insert on the anterior hip bones, which is right here. And then the external obliques start higher up on the lower 8 ribs, so a little bit higher, and those fibers go this way. So internal obliques go this way.
Okay.
External obliques go this way.
Okay. So like crossed over almost, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So those will come in, they'll attach to that line in the middle called the linea alba, which is connective tissue, right in between of the 8-pack. So they'll connect there, but then they'll also connect on the pubic bone and on the hip bone.
Okay.
And then the last, most superficial layer, which is the one we see most, is right in the center, and that's the 8-pack. And so that's responsible for bending us forward, while the obliques are responsible for side-to-side movements.
Okay.
So,
would you say, of course, the internal obliques and I guess internal muscles would be more challenging to focus on and to, I guess, promote through your workout, correct?
Right. So problems arise when we focus on some ab layers and not others. They're designed to work together, and not just abs in isolation. They're designed to actually work with your pelvic floor, with your breathing diaphragm, and with your core back muscles.
Okay.
So you have to be educated about it to know how to activate and recruit that. So one of the problems that comes, I heard you ask about that pooch. What was your question about the pooch?
Like, I feel like a lot of the times, many of my clients are always complaining, like, how do I target that specific area, which is basically the area underneath the belly button, and it kind of bulges out right before, I guess, your pelvis area. And they're always wondering how to sort of bring that down a notch, even though they're doing, multiple core exercises. They always seem to have a problem with that one area.
Okay, so let me try and demonstrate, okay? I'm going to try and activate my core in 2 different ways. One way, I'm going to activate it with the transversus abdominis, which is the innermost ab layer, and the other way I'm not going to, okay? So the first way, what most people do, let me get the camera down a bit so you can see. What most people do is like this. So see how it bulges this out?
Yes.
It increases the pressure in the abdomen, and then it pushes right here. And if you feel, my abs are hard, but it's pushing out. The other way, if I activate transversus abdominis first, oops, my phone is falling, hold on.
By the way, she's had 2 kids. Okay, you look fabulous.
So this way, I activated transversus abdominis first, then I activate the core, and that holds it in.
So how would you instruct, say, a new person to do that? Say, like even through myself, how would you verbally instruct them to do it? Because of course we can't be in front of people right now being over the camera. So what are some of the cues that you would recommend?
It's challenging. Most people, even if you instruct them and they think they're doing it, they're actually not doing it because it goes along, like I said, with the pelvic floor and the innermost spinal muscles.
Okay.
So, but some of the cues we use to try and activate that, and I'll demonstrate as well, is think of holding in your pee. Think of a rope between your 2 hip bones that you're trying to make shorter.
Okay.
And really, if you're doing it, what you're gonna feel, you're gonna put your finger on your abdomen, and what you're gonna feel is an indrawing of the muscles, not a sucking in, and not a pushing out. Okay, a lot of people, they think they're doing it, but what they're actually activating is the external obliques, and they're still keeping their stomach flat, so they think they're getting it, but it's pushing out into your fingers, and that means that it's the external obliques, not the internal, not the transversus abdominis.
Would you recommend
really doing it
standing or sitting though? Like if you were
laying down. I'm gonna
Okay.
demonstrate for you right now.
Okay.
So let's just set this up closer.
Is that your Mother's Day present? Your necklace?
No, it was
I love it.
Nice gift from my mother-in-law, actually.
What a nice mom-in-law.
Yes, very. Okay, so you're gonna get find your hip bones,
Okay.
and get your fingers just inside, so you're off the bone and you're on your belly. Okay.
Got it.
And then you want to try and do a Kegel first, because that'll facilitate. A Kegel, it means you're gonna think of like sucking up a marble into your vagina. So you're gonna go around it, like squeeze it and suck it in and up. Okay. So that alone is a challenging exercise, but if you can get that, it'll really help you with the transverse abdominis. So you're gonna do Kegel, and then try and offload this area. So try and figure out a way to get these 2 bones closer together. And if you do it properly, what I feel under my fingers, and it's nothing you could really see, but I feel like my stomach is moving away from my fingers.
Got it. So
if I do it using
that, right?
Sorry?
More towards the back of the mat kind of thing, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But you're not actually seeing something.
Yeah, because
it's
internal.
Another mistake people make is they do it, they're using different muscles, and then they're actually seeing a movement in their abdominals or pelvis, which means they're not actually doing it correctly. So you're not going to see anything. You're just going to feel like your stomach is moving away from your fingers without sucking in. It's not a suck in.
So really, they're not like to get it up and in. They're not doing that. They're just literally trying to lower it.
Yeah.
Past your fingers in your hip bone. Okay.
Yeah, and it takes training. It takes a lot of time to learn. It takes a quiet environment and connecting with your body to do it. That's why we have pelvic health physio. It takes a lot of coaching. But if you can master that, that's going to help to hold your entire abdomen together. Now, the trick is, for those postpartum moms, that transversus abdominis, while it does hold you together, it also does attach to that linea alba where that rip is, or that tear normally comes in between the 6-pack. So if you're contracting in a certain way, it'll actually pull that apart. So I do recommend for those women that have some issues that they actually seek pelvic physio. I have a great one that works with me if anyone's interested, because you need specific feedback for that.
It's something that can be repaired though, right? Because there's been a few questions inside of my client base where they're asking me, you know, when those ab muscles detach, is it possible to, like when they
Oh,
tear type deal, it's
yeah.
possible to get it back, correct?
So you'll have a gap. The gap or like the tear will never fully go away,
Okay.
but it will get closed. So like surgery is really, really a last resort. It's a big ordeal. It's not like a tummy tuck or anything like that. It's a big ordeal.
Right.
So the
Imagine what the
standard
recovery
management.
is for that.
Sorry.
I can't even imagine what the recovery would be like for something like that. That's crazy.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's a big deal. The standard management is pelvic health physio, and we get the gap closed, and we teach you how to control the belly muscles, which is what you need, right? And that'll take care of, a lot of women have back pain and things like that. That pelvic physio will take care of that because it coaches you.
How do you close the muscle, Christine? Are you developing it stronger, like with additional muscle fibers, or is it something else?
It's something else. It's training the muscles. It's training the muscles to contract while they're closed. So you either hold them yourself and like hold it closed and do exercises, or get a brace, hold it closed and do exercises. And then it's also that mind-body connection of knowing how to activate the right pelvic layers and the pelvic floor at the same time.
Okay.
But it's through that body coaching that you essentially gain control of it.
Would you say that some of this coaching, you know, not as in detail, of course, or as a predominantly focus, as you're talking about pelvic physio, but would some of these exercises be taught in like your standard yoga class or Pilates or any? No. Okay.
No.
Okay.
This is a specialty in physical therapy. So it's not something that's common knowledge. You have to take specialized courses to know what you're talking about.
And now, in opposed to the exercise you just showed us when you're laying on the mat, is there anything else that you would recommend for, you know, people to practice at home other than seeking like their professional advice from somebody, you know, that you would recommend? Is there anything else you would?
Yeah. So I did a post recently challenging people to do ab exercises without letting their rectus abdominis bulge out, which is that superficial ab layer, the six pack. And if you could do that, then it means that you're starting to activate some of the other ab layers. And so if I demonstrate, if you could see here.
Okay.
If I just focus on the rectus abdominis, you'll see how it bulges.
Yes.
See how my stomach bulges up? But if I activate everything, then I can keep a flat stomach as I come up.
Got it. So cues would be to like press your lower back into the mat or the bench? Or not?
That won't quite do it, because to press your low back into the bench, you'll still use rectus abdominis. It's a matter of training the muscles. So I really recommend that people just play around. See, that visual feedback is really helpful. Figure out how you can get your body to keep your stomach flat as you do a sit-up, and you will figure it out.
Yeah.
That's not going to necessarily get your pelvic floor engaged. It's not necessarily going to get the transversus abdominis engaged, but it will get the obliques. So at least you're getting more ab layers.
Right. Okay.
And yeah, if you need more specialized coaching, especially for the postpartum moms, almost everybody needs pelvic physio after they've given birth.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone has some degree of tear. No one has no tear. So yeah.
And is there, I mean, any other advice that you would give to, say, a mom or even the general person that has more lower back pain? I know it's a completely different area than we're focusing on today. I know it's part of the core, but in terms of using these training techniques that you just gave us, will that also help to strengthen their lower back as well?
Yeah, it certainly will. And like I mentioned before, the core, the front core works with the back core. We always think of core as like here.
Yeah.
But there's stabilizing muscles through the spine as well, and the breathing diaphragm and the pelvic diaphragm. And so all of those work together so if you know how to co-contract to stabilize through the spine, that's going to help quite a bit. And this is part of the puzzle. It's not the whole picture, but it should help a bit. And then the other thing is just knowing how to keep your spine in neutral as you do various movements. So if you can get that co-contraction, like the deep muscles, the pelvic floor with the transversus abdominis, then you can hold your spine in neutral as you do like a deadlift, for example. And I'll try and explain what I mean. So if you can co-contract, here I've got my pelvic floor engaged, I've got my transversus abdominis engaged, and then I can hold my spine neutral, and then I could do a deadlift, for instance. Or even if I'm just doing rows, then I know how to hold my back in a neutral position.
Correct. Okay, so that'll help alleviate their back pain as well.
Yeah, it's a piece of the puzzle, like I said.
For sure, I know. I mean, I know it's so complicated, and there's so many things that you have to think about. I always tell, you know, any of my clients to think about the mind-muscle connection. That's most important, other than, of course, the form and making sure we're preventing injury. But yeah,
yes.
I mean, there's so many moving parts to the human body, and I mean, most people, when they gain weight, they tend to gain it in around their core. And we also have to make sure we're just using the following proper training techniques, because they're extremely important.
Yeah, absolutely. Just knowing how to engage the core. It's not bracing, it's not gripping, it's not that. We have to know how to go from the inside out. That alone will do wonders for that, just that shape.
Yeah. That's amazing, Christine. We're going to talk about knee pain next time we log on, and I'm actually going to throw my husband on here because he's got a lot of knee pain. So I'll be very interested.
Oh, I can't wait.
I know, right? You're like, oh, great. Yeah, he's got some crazy injuries going on in his knees, but I mean, again, that's another really common area that people tend to injure themselves. So as always, yeah, we appreciate your knowledge. Thank you so much for logging on today. Follow this lady. Make sure you follow her advice. She's incredible. And we'll see you again on our next episode, number 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Kara.
My pleasure, Christine. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.